Thank you for joining us on the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray. We have a very special conversation today. Oftentimes, we talk about, and it is, it happens pretty frequently on the station, we talk about safety and the CTA. But we never have it or hardly ever have it from the perspective that we're going to have it today. We often talk about people getting shot or stabbed or, harassed or assaulted. That's not the conversation today. Today we're looking at public safety with the CTA through a different lens. Let me give you my guest, and then we'll explain it. Joining me on the live line, we have Mr. Eric Basir with Local 308. He's a union steward, also a part of the vehicle maintenance executive board, and he's here to tell us about the concerns we may need to have as riders of the CTA about how safe the experience can and should be. Thank you, Mr. Basir, for joining us. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. I'm greatly honored to be on the Voice of the Nation, WVON, as a guest. That's been listening to this station for many years, and it's my first time. So thanks for having me. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm so glad to know that your first time is on the afternoon show. So I appreciate that. That means a lot to LaDonna and I. But let's get right to it, because this is a very important conversation to have. Again, I opened by saying we typically talk about public safety from a different perspective about what happens on the train. But you're going to help us understand a little bit better what happens under the train. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm the union rep elected by the people who clean and repair CTA trains. And I'm here to tell you that we are being punished by our employer for doing our job. I want to let the riders know there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going out there from our politicians and the top bosses at the CTA. The most horrible thing for anyone who's riding a train, whether you're a passenger or the crew, is to not have brakes. Brakes are the number one safety component on CTA trains. And the CTA mismanagement, and I'm using that term with intentionally. With intention.
Yeah.
Yes. The CTA mismanagement is suspending, retaliating against, harassing me and my coworkers for reporting safety hazards on these trains. These trains are not safe. We have an inspector who was told by the CTA mismanagement, do not put those defects that need repairs for the brakes on your train in your report. You come and tell me.
Before you do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't want to hold the trains. This manager's looking for a promotion. And our brave CTA coworker who cares about the riders and his coworkers said, no, I'm putting it in. They suspended him for 3 days. He's 1 foot out the door. The other write-up, he's got multiple write-ups, mm-hmm. and others too have multiple write-ups because, the parts that we need to repair these trains, some of them, again, on the brake system, some of them in the propulsion system. We don't have the parts. And sometimes a manager will tell us, oh, go take some zip ties. And then we get written up for it when it comes back with a problem.
That's right.
And I want to tell you about the people that clean the trains. All right? They are being exploited, starting with the Second Chance program. Right now, the CTA is out there saying, oh, we're giving ex-felons a second chance. They ain't giving them a second chance. It's a second-class program, and I'm going to break it down right here for you and everybody in the city of Chicago. They take people who need work, who are desperate, who are trying to escape the prison industrial complex, trying to escape poverty, and they discipline these people at twice the severity of all other CTA workers. Example.
So they can't breathe right.
No. And they work the midnights.
That's right. So
right?
It's the hardest, worst shift.
Midnights.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so now I could fall asleep at work. I could just sit down and accidentally doze off. 3 times in 1 year, I'm fired.
Yeah.
Okay? I get caught 3 times. They're going to suspend me one day the first time. They're going to suspend me 3 days the second time. And then they're going to put me up for discharge in the third time. Okay.
Okay.
Don't sleep at work, right?
Yeah.
But these people, if they get caught, they get terminated immediately.
No 3 strikes rule for them.
Right.
Are they able to take part in the union?
Yeah.
Okay, so they are able to have union protection.
Yeah, but our own union leadership, our own presidents, and this is why I'm running for president, because I'm sick and tired of this crap. They keep siding with the CTA mismanagement, and there's some narrow interpretation of a part of our contract that regards these second chance workers. It's ridiculous, because what they say is these poor people can't grieve or try to seek justice for unjust write-ups unless they're fired. But the only way you could get fired at the CTA is if they write you up and write you up and write you up, right? Mm-hmm. So these poor second chancers can't grieve any of those write-ups. They can only grieve the termination.
Sounds wholly unfair.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that they call them apprentices. That's not an apprentice program. It's a slavery program. And this is a majority Black and Latino workforce. And the other thing I want to say, since I'm on WVON and it's the voice of the nation, and we Black people in North America are a nation, this is oppression of Black on Black crime. The Chicago Transit Authority is a microcosm of Black on Black crime. White supremacy at its highest, and it's despicable. We have whole groups of CTA workers living in poverty, Brother Atiba. Poverty. Homeless CTA workers.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Because I want to better understand this. The average person hearing this will say on the surface, what are you talking about, Eric? CTA is a good union job. It's hard to find a good union job nowadays. How is it that someone with a good union job could be working for, could have income that's not enough to meet their needs, and or even, as you uttered, be homeless?
It is because of concessionary bargaining.
Okay.
With sellout union presidents. That's what it is.
Explain that.
They're selling us out. Our jobs, the few good paying jobs we have left are being eroded from us, Atiba. Our deductions are extremely high. We cannot keep up with the rate of inflation. Yeah. We have no paid sick leave. We go to work sick. I was working in a pit. No one hearing this would believe, and I'm not saying you're lying, I'm saying that's a shocker. No one would believe that a good union paying job would not have paid sick leave. No, we get write-ups when we get sick and call off. We have something called short-term disability that we have to use because we don't have it, but you still get written up. You don't get paid for it unless you're out like weeks. And so when you have all these part-time workers who are working 40 hours, by the way, can you imagine that? A part-time job working 40 hours, right? Hold that thought. Hold that thought. You are giving us, as our host Cleopatra would say, you're giving us some tea today. But we're up on a break. I want to hit this break right on time, and so that you have more time on the other side. You're listening to Atiba LaDonna Ray. We'll be right back. We're back on the afternoon show, Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna Ray. I am joined by local union steward, Mr. Eric Basir, and he is giving us the heads up on the concerns that we should have as riders of CTA trains. Again, we're not talking about the public safety issue on top of the train. We're talking about the public safety issue under the train. And he is really giving us some insight as to the challenges that workers have, even the second chance workers. So if you're just joining us, you don't want to miss a minute of this. Mr. Basir, welcome back to the show. And when we had gone to break, I think you were explaining how, as union workers, you still don't even have paid sick time. How does that work? It's astonishing. Paid sick leave is now law of the land in Illinois, law of the county of Cook, and law of the city of Chicago and all of its sister agencies, which includes the Chicago Transit Authority. Our union presidents snuck a waiver in Article 15.13 of our collective bargaining agreement that waived all three of those laws. And they tricked us into voting for that contract. They never even told us in the summaries when we voted on it. These people the Chicago Transit Authority mismanagement does not care about the riders. They do not care about the workers. The other week, I was working in a pit trying to deal with a brake caliper on a train, underneath the train. And I was sitting in inches of raw sewage. And we have been complaining about this to the CTA mismanagers. And you know what they say? Well, if you don't want to be there, don't work. Oh, and then get written up for refusing to do work?
It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, it's been that way all the time, Mr. Basir. Even before you got here. Yeah, that's what they said about slavery. You know, I'm speaking frank words with you, Brother Atiba, because I want the riders to understand the depravity of the CTA mismanagement. And we, the union workers and the riders, secured funding to keep the Chicago Transit Authority afloat. And the least that they could do for us is to provide for us the best possible working conditions, which is actually in Article 1.1 of our collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
I could go on and on, brother. But one other thing you should know is when you are on these trains and buses and you see a CTA worker, I tell you, if they aren't smiling, they're struggling.
Yeah.
They might be sick. And we are working sick. And that's not safe. That's not safe for the riders. And that's not safe for us. When the COVID-19 pandemic exploded, it was us. We were spreading it to each other.
You were essential workers.
The riders. Yeah. The riders were spreading to us, yes. And they want to call us essential. Look, we don't want to be called essential, okay? Because in legal terms, seriously, in legal terms in the state of Illinois, that immediately knocks you out of your right to strike as per Section 17 of the Illinois Labor Relations Act, okay? So, and I'm not calling for a strike, but we are not essential. We are humans, okay? And all we want is respect and dignity. We want to do our jobs and not be punished for it.
That's right. And to keep people safe.
Yes. And do you know, Atiba, in just 1 month, 2 of the people who cleaned the trains were viciously assaulted with their faces cut up and just horribly beat up. And no one's talking about it. And you know who they were beat up by? It was by people with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
People self-medicating, people living on the trains. What are we doing in this society where we got billions and billions for these frickin' wars, and then we got nothing for the people? And then when the people start falling through the cracks, where do they go, Atiba? They go on the buses and the trains. And then what happens to them there? They take out their anger on us, and we've got nothing. And then when we fight back, or if we bring a gun to work to defend ourselves, you know what happens to us? We get fired.
That's right. Let's do this because we only have about 2 minutes left, and I want to make sure we get an opportunity to give people a call to action, right? Given everything that you've laid out, what can we do as citizens of this fair city?
We have a contract expiring for CTA workers. Mm-hmm. I would like every person who rides the trains, and even those who don't, and buses, to call the union presidents, call the CTA president, call the board of directors for the Chicago Transit Authority, and demand that they provide the best possible working conditions for all the CTA workers. Mm-hmm. And that is paid sick leave and short-term disability. Just like they have for the managers, all of us should have it because it's the law. And if I'm going to get sick at work, I should be able to earn time off, use it, and not be punished, not have to bring a doctor's note. It's that simple. When we start these basic things and full-time jobs for all, brick and mortar bathrooms for the workers, a lot of us don't have bathrooms. Yeah, that's another story. When we get these kinds of things, I guarantee you CTA service is going to get better.
Yeah.
But if y'all want better service, and I know I do because I ride the system, if y'all want better service, you got to treat the workers better, much better.
This is a conversation that we could have across so many industries. And I
Yes.
thank you so much for
Yes.
pricking our
Yes.
consciousness about this. And I do agree with you, obviously, that, workers need great conditions, and it only harms, again, the riders when you harm the workers. So again, in the interest of public safety, if nothing else, I would implore everyone under the sound of your voice to take up your call to action so that we can all be safe. We don't have these tragedy stories of a train crashing or, all the things that could happen if the things are not safe. And I want to thank you, Mr. Basir, Mr. Eric Basir, for joining us on the afternoon show. Please know that you are welcome back anytime.
I can't wait. I got so much to tell you.
You got it. Well, then we will definitely do a part 2 of this conversation.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you. Bless you.
You got it. All right, guys, we're going to take a real quick break for traffic and weather. We'll be right back with Atiba and LaDonna Ray.